Good morning everyone and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Blackboard. I am your host Krishna Khandelwal, the head boy of the school, and today's episode is filled with stories, fun and a side of surprise. Our guest today is someone who we see usually with a serious face, but today we get to see the person behind the post. We welcome the headmaster of the school, Mr. Merwyn Rodricks.
Thank you, Krishna.
So welcome to the podcast.
I hope I'm not serious today.
Yes, sir. Sir was also the head boy of Bishop's Camp in grade 12. So, sir, how was school back then? How were things back then? Do you want to implement anything which happened back then and is not happening right now? So, can you just tell us a little bit about it?
So, I came to Bishop's Camp in 2005. Now, before that, I was in Panchgani in a very small school called St. Xavier's, where there were just 75 kids. Coming to Bishop's Camp in class 11 was a big change because you went from 75 in a school to around 3,500 in the school. When you talk about how was school back then, I was the second batch of Bishop's Camp JC because it had just begun. What many don't know about it is that the first batch was co-ed. Now the first time the girls came into that campus, of course, it brought with itself a new set of challenges.
Yes, sir.
So they decided that they didn't want to deal with it. And so my batch was an all-boys batch.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'd rather not say.
Okay.
Now when I went to class 12, the school decided that maybe it's time to give girls another chance on campus.
Okay.
And so girls came back in class 11. So that left us as the only all-boys batch of junior college at the Bishop School camp. Of course, Kalyani Nagar and Undri, which then began, they were already co-ed from the beginning itself, so they didn't face those issues. Now, when you look at things back then, I think the discipline was different back in the day. It was a little better maybe because of the disciplining techniques that were used in the classroom. And I think everyone talks about it with fond memories. No one holds back anything because even if it was being made to stand out of class, even if it was corporal punishment for that matter, I think it was just taken in good stride. Now, if you talk about something that existed back then and that I would like to implement today, I think it's rather difficult to do that because kids today come from a very different section. And when I say different section, what I mean is, the exposure that they have is different. So what they bring into school is also very different. Their thought process, the way they communicate. I think we were just very simpletons back in the day. We did not know so much that the kids already know. But something that I feel that should not change is the general ethos of the school, the values and traditions of the school. At some point, I feel that there is a monumental shift in that, wherein there are certain values and traditions that have not been carried forward. So I would say that is something that we are working on every day to bring back the ethos, the traditions and the values on which Bishops was built.
So you mentioned that you moved from a school of 75 children to a school of 3,500. So how was it like fitting in from 75 to 3,500? How was the journey?
I don't think I was ever able to fit in because I came in class 11. So my mom joined as a matron.
Okay.
So already you were a staff child. For staff children back in the day, so Mr. Aviat, the headmaster of Bishop's Camp then, called my mother and he said, "You'll have to tell Merwyn to toughen up because staff kids get picked on." So from the minute that I set foot in school, I was already warned about the fact that I would get picked on. To add on to that, when I was in grade 11, now I came in June. In August, I was announced as the house captain. Now there existed kids who were in class 12, like my vice captain was in class 12. I was house captain in class 11. So you can understand what they went through. And you can understand what I probably went through because a house captain was made in class 11 who just came in 2 months ago. So I don't think it was easy to fit in. But I think that is the challenge when you move to a new place. what helped was I've never been in a school more than 3 years. I've just kept moving from one school to another. So whether it was Nagpur, Pune, Panchgani, Bombay, I've gone across schools. So I think somewhere that helped in adjusting to the fact that yes, acceptance takes time. It's always difficult for an outsider to come in, especially when everyone's so territorial and everyone felt that we are Bishopites and an outsider was picked over us. So fitting in was difficult and I never did fit in. And of course, then in class 12, I went on from being the house captain to head boy. I think by then things had settled down pretty well.
Fine, sir. So what kind of student were you like?
What kind of student was I? I think I'm still a very shy person. And I was a very shy boy back then.
Sir, being a student of the school, don't find you shy.
No, that's a persona that I've got in school. In school, of course, there's a different kind of confidence or there is a different persona that you bring because that is the position that you're in. But back in school, and a lot of teachers who are with the Bishop School today will vouch for the fact, I think I was one of the shyest kids in school. Eventually that changed because once you were given certain responsibilities, you had to come out of your shell, move forward and start taking charge. In the classroom, I was neither a front bencher nor the back bencher. The safest place, I think what a lot of people don't get is to sit somewhere in the center. No one pays attention to you. They look at the kids in front, you look at the kids at the back. I sat in the middle because like I said, I was a very shy person. I did not want anyone to ask me anything. I would just enjoy my peace, in the center, do my work. Okay, of course, I still managed to do that. So that was the kid that I was. Stage was something that I was very fond of, I think, which is what I enjoyed back then. When I say stage, I mean elocutions and debates, not acting for sure. I mean, I was never a fan of it back then, not one right now. But elocutions, debates, quizzes, those were the thing. But yeah, in general, I think I was a decent student, no complaints.
So you are a qualified mechanical engineer.
Yes.
Then why education? Why a teacher?
Why a teacher? Many people seem to have asked me that question, that as an engineer, what are you doing in a school? I think I went through something which is a very common problem that a lot of kids face in the country, where the child wants to do something, but there are a lot of external factors around that say, why this? So in the same way, when I was in class 12, we were advised by a lot of teachers that why does he want to do BSc, MSc and come as a teacher? Why doesn't he do something, a professional course?
Okay.
So fine, engineering was something that interested me because being a science student, I absolutely enjoyed the science of things. When I went to engineering college, out there, what I did was, even though I used to study, I used to help out a lot of my juniors.
So basically you were teaching before becoming a teacher?
I was teaching before I became a teacher, yes. So there was a subject called engineering graphics that I think I've probably taught almost the entire boys hostel back at my engineering college. Because we did not have the facility to go for any extra help. We did not have tuitions back in the day, at least for people who lived in hostels and boardings.
Yeah.
So I would teach them. So much so there came a point where my own college offered me a teaching position when I was in the final year. They said, see, you're not placed yet. So how about taking up a teaching position? We'll get your masters done while you're teaching here. But then, I think for good fortune, I managed to get placed in a core company.
Yeah.
And then the decision lies, should I go towards the core company or should I just take up the teaching job after engineering itself? So one of the priests in the college, he said, Merwyn, you can come back to teaching, but go and have that industry exposure so that you don't have a what if in your life. Many a times we take decisions and then we think back, what if I would have done something?
Yes,
he said, going into teaching and then going into the industry is very difficult because then you get used to the classroom.
Yeah.
He said, go, take a look at what industry life looks like. If you don't like it, this is something that you enjoy, it's something that you've done, you can always fall back on it.
So how was the job?
How was the job? The company was great. So it was a Korean based MNC called Tegutech.
Okay.
The science of it, like I've said, it's something that I've enjoyed throughout life, understanding how things work. So the science of it was great because it manufactured cutting tools that were used to engineer or machine all kinds of parts. So whether it was automobile sector, the aviation sector, railways, all the sectors were covered. So as an engineer of that company, you weren't just limited to your own, factory floor. If I have to understand what has to be machined, I need to go to that factory. I need to stand at the CNC. I need to understand the kind of job that is being manufactured and then study what kind of tools I can provide. So the engineering part of it was great. I've spent a few months in Pune itself. I think John Deere and Tata Fiat back in the day. I've spent the most number of days training there because they were the biggest suppliers that the company had. Post that, I was sent to Chhattisgarh as the sales manager. I think that's where it kind of got lost because money and me, not a good combination.
You don't like money?
It's not that I don't like, I'm just very uncomfortable with the talk of money. See, at the end of the day, I would enjoy going to the shop floor. I would enjoy seeing what was being manufactured.
Yes.
But if you're in sales and marketing, it comes down to whether you can close the deal or not. And the company very clearly said, they said, we cannot give you design or application because when we hired you because of the fact that you can talk. But a city lad like me, being sent, to a place where it was a little difficult for me personally also because I've grown up in a city all along and then I was staying in Bhilai. Now Bhilai just has one central road. It has the Bhilai steel plant on one side and it has the industrial sector on the others. It would start and finish within 2 miles. So it was difficult personally, that was one. Second, like I said, the manufacturing of it was great. But then when you have to tell them, you need to place an order, you need to close a deal, I was very uncomfortable with because talk about money even today makes me uncomfortable. I mean, and 14 years ago for me to do that was a little difficult and I wasn't enjoying it. So since I didn't enjoy that aspect of work, I thought, okay, fine, let's do my master's because in order to teach in an engineering college, you need to have an MTech. While I was preparing for that, an opportunity opened to tutor the boarders at Bishop's Camp.
Okay.
So I took that opportunity. I was asked to teach classes 9 and 10. Within a year, I received a phone call from Bishop's Kalyani Nagar asking what I was doing in the mornings. I said, see, mornings I don't really do much. So a teacher had just quit and they needed someone to teach math as an emergency.
Okay.
So I was just told, get to school, come and help out, So that's how I ended up
So sir,
at
coming
Bishop's
in
KLN.
as a substitute teacher,
Yes.
then a class teacher of class 10,
Yes.
then a coordinator,
Yeah.
now the headmaster.
Yes.
Sir, how was it? You
It's
have ticked
unreal.
most of the boxes. You were also the head boy of the school.
Yes. 10 years ago when I came as a substitute teacher, if you had asked me would I see myself as the headmaster of the school someday,
Okay.
I wouldn't believe it because school was not a part of the plan to begin with. The plan was I prepare for GATE, I appear for the exam, then I go to an engineering college, I finish my master's and then see where life takes me.
Okay.
So I would have probably just been a professor in an engineering college at this point.
Okay.
School happened and I was given 5 sections of class 9. Okay, so 9D to 9H. I don't think a lot of you know, but yes, the school did have sections till H back then. So 9D to 9H, just a timetable was given to me. And Mao ma'am was the HOD for math and physics. And I was just told, go teach. Those kids till date tell me that the day you came in, you were looking at the walls. Because I had no formal training. I was just a substitute that came in. But little by little, of course, this entire thing, it grows on you. because you realize that you enjoy what you're doing, and as you enjoy what you're doing, it got a little serious. Then of course you get all your qualifications in place, because that's essential. Then there was a break for a year. During that time I was just learning a little bit of German and only teaching also.
So you know German also?
A bit of it, yeah, 2 levels. I mean, don't ask me to tell anything in German right
I'm
now,
a French
because
student, sir, so I don't know German at all.
I don't remember a lot of it. I can introduce myself in German for sure, but nothing beyond that.
Okay.
Then, of course, I joined back at the Bishop School camp.
Okay.
The very next year, I became the middle school coordinator, which I feel was such a learning experience. But even when I was coordinator, conversations did come up. You know, I won't try to wear the humble hat and say that no, I did not think that this was going to happen. Somewhere the conversation did come up with a lot of kids would tell you, the other teachers around also would tell you that probably someday you will be headmaster. I just thought that it would happen maybe after like 8 or 9 years. And when the day came, you know, and I was told that I was being considered for the job, it was a mix of emotions.
So I could say the same thing. It was a mix of emotions for all of us at Bishop's KLN, because we got mixed reviews about you.
Okay. So it was a mix of emotion for me back there, because leaving camp was not something that I thought about.
Okay.
So even on the day of the interview also, one of the governing body members, after it was declared, you know, that, okay, congratulations, you're headmaster of Kalyani Nagar. One of the governing body members asked me, why do you look so disappointed? So that was the reality of it, because I didn't know if what I'm doing was correct or not. I never thought I was going to leave camp. I did get a feedback before coming here that yes, the kids already were asking a lot of questions about me, because the kids at camp would come and tell me, you know, we keep getting asked questions, you know, what are you and how are you like? I think there was a lot of fear that was put into kids even before I set foot on campus.
So that I can agree with.
I mean, it's not my fault, you know. I did not tell them to tell you things. I think some of it was exaggerated. A lot of it probably true. Because I don't know. I think the minute the name Merwyn sir is said in school, I think the first emotion that goes through, or the first sensation that goes through a lot of people, I think is the 4-letter word fear. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, sir, I do agree with it, sir. No, but like, so then coordinator, headmaster, class teacher.
Yeah.
Which one was the best one for you?
I think my current role is probably the most fulfilling role.
Okay, so is there anything which you cannot do as the headmaster of the school which you used to do as a coordinator? Anything?
There hasn't been much of a change.
Okay.
Okay. But I think the one place that it affects more than your professional life, I think it's your personal life. Because you're more of a little bit of a public figure right now. So even if you see me walking down the road, it becomes, you know, a big event, you know, because now it's like, he's going. Nice, sir. God forbid someone sees me at a mall or at a restaurant. I think that's where, you know, what has changed, I think, is privacy, because now there's so much scrutiny on you. Everyone's interested in what you're doing. Everything that you do gets highlighted. But beyond that, I think not much has changed professionally. Of course, the quantum of work goes up. The quantum of responsibility also goes up, because you are looking after an entire section in the school. When you're looking after an entire section in the school, you need to think about the consequences for 2,500 children. And that is a lot. But I don't think there's much that I cannot do as headmaster that I did as coordinator. But yeah, definitely. I think moving around Kalyani Nagar freely, I think that's definitely where there's a restriction to that.
Right, sir. Now being the headmaster of the school, sir, you have quite a few responsibilities. Bishop's, being a school, balances academics and co-curriculars at the same time. So sir, can you please explain the audience that what are the different kind of activities which we organize in school, the different kind of clubs which we have, everything that's happening with academics?
There's actually so much happening in school that even we lose track of it. To be honest. That's why there is an entire hierarchy set up in place. So you have the principal, then you have the headmaster and headmistress taking care of two different sections of the school. You have sectional coordinators in place, you have class teachers, and then of course you have all the event in charges also. I think somewhere balancing it out has always been the biggest challenge for all of us here.
Yes, sir.
The reason why it's a challenge is because we want all-round development, but somewhere I think you've got to measure it out as to how much of each needs to be done. See, we've got an activity period in the day where you try and do as many activities as possible, but even at the end of the day, there's a lot that goes into the teaching time also.
Yes, sir.
So while yes, academics needs to be at the center of everything, in today's day and age, that cannot be your only focus, because all-round development is the need of the 21st century.
Yes, sir.
You have 21st century skills such as communication, creativity, innovation, financial literacy, all of those also which are absolutely necessary. So for that, activities are important, because there's so much that you learn when you're conducting activities, participating in activities, or on the playground, that probably a classroom is never going to teach you. And that's the reason why we have all the inter-house events taking place. They are scheduled in such a way that it takes care of most of it during the activity period itself, but some of it might go on to the teaching periods. Clubs, this year I think we've increased the number of clubs to capture various fields. So you have the media club, you have an entrepreneurship club, you have an art club, a creative writing club that will come up, there's a debate club, there's an MUN club. So you've got so many clubs in place so that kids get different opportunities to be a part of it.
Yes, sir.
As much as possible, these clubs are carried out during the activity period itself, because that's 1 hour that's dedicated towards club activities.
Yes, sir.
Of course, some of us who feel like our syllabuses are always lagging, we do go to class and do a little bit of teaching.
So, does that include you?
It absolutely includes me, I don't think, see, all those math memes that you see on the internet, all of them are true. We are always lagging behind in syllabus. We always need to get extra classes. But I think I'd rather take an activity period than take a PT period. So I haven't taken a single PT period this year.
That I can verify, sir.
Okay, so I'd rather take activities over PT periods, because again, those 35 minutes, I think precious 35 minutes.
Yes, sir. We can agree on that. So one more thing which people don't know as of now is, like, we do host events, we have a sports day, we have a concert, but behind the scenes, whatever happens, people don't know about that. So can you just explain a little bit what happens behind a sports day, because it is one of the most important events of the year?
So for any event that takes place, the planning begins almost a month and a half before the event. Okay, first of all, we need to understand who are the teachers on duty.
Yes, sir.
Okay, assign them different roles, mark out an event schedule, because like you said, a sports day has a number of events that does not take place on a final day. So you need to mark out an entire set of events, you need to form schedules. Then certain events take place in school, certain places, because we don't have a full-fledged ground.
Yes, sir.
So we need to finalize a ground, share our schedules with them so that they are okay with the availability of it. Then there's a constant back and forth from the school to the venue and back. Because see, for a sports day, it's not just about the field and track events. You've got marching, again that we begin almost 2 months before the event. You've got the all coveted aerobics where, for some their life depends on that event, It doesn't matter what happens through the year, but if they don't win the aerobics, they are the most heartbroken kids you will see. So even there, right from the song selection to the practice schedule, everything needs to be maintained. Same for a concert as well. You've got so many departments taking place. You have the music department, you've got the dance department, you've got the actors, all practicing independently and then trying to get them all together. Even if you take a small event, even a small event, preparations begin a few weeks in advance. Same, we need to send out an office order, and making everyone understand what their roles and responsibilities are. So no event goes unplanned, or there's no last minute event. There's a lot of planning. Before an event, we even discuss about all the possibilities that can go wrong, and then how we can rectify those, or what we can do so that we have a good event at the end of it.
Fine, sir.